what would you have us hear on the subject of Acharya Upasanam, the worship of Sri Guru, Sri Acharya Dev, before I speak, or would you rather I begin speaking? It's up to you.
Maharaj, just when we came here, and then I said, so what is my duty? I was told, oh, it's your birthday, you can do as you like. Then I tried to borrow some car keys. I couldn't get the car keys. So apparently I can't do as I like. I need to be here and do as I'm instructed. But Maharaj, what I would maybe like to say at the beginning is that we remember clearly our coming to the temple in the first place, and first reading the books. I've been reading Srila Prabhupada's books and coming to the temple. And then, really at that time, we're seeing every devotee there like special. And we think, oh, this devotee, he's been in the mission for 3 months. He's been chanting 16 rounds a day of 108 names, minimum, for 3 months. Oh, must be such a great soul. Great soul. Thousands and thousands of times, one name can do all these things. And all the devotees, we really know nothing about the slightest etiquette of anything, sitting in the right order, or doing anything. But we appreciated every devotee at that time. There was no thought, oh, this is a foolish devotee, this is a devotee but foolish, this is a devotee but angry, this is a devotee. There wasn't even that question. It was like all these devotees, they have something, and I'm an outsider, and they're letting me stand at the back of the kirtan. And I'd read in Srila Prabhupada's book how, the devotees, they see Krishna in the deity. So they are chanting and dancing in ecstasy in front of the deity. And really, I remember in Watford, the manor, and I'm standing there and I'm seeing the devotees dancing and chanting, and I'm thinking, oh, this is what Srila Prabhupada, and here I am, and here's the deity. What are they seeing? And then, as weeks go on in our life, we may kind of think that, maybe they're not quite seeing the pure way Srila Prabhupada is expressing, but they're trying to see. But I remember one devotee, and we were always taught, then from the beginning to bow down to the devotees, So we bow down to the devotees when we see the devotees and everything. And after some time, another devotee said to me that, they're not all devotees, that. They're only showing like devotees. And then it came in my mind, okay, and it just sounded like wrong advice. But you know how we mentioned that, when we're first in the mission, somebody who's been 1 week longer than us in the mission,
senior.
Then they're senior, and 1 week longer, they're senior, or they've been 1 week and a day longer, most senior, like this. So, then it just kind of struck me, that's not maybe very good advice. And you reflect on what you're advised. And then I thought, and really at that time I thought, I can't tell who's a devotee, which ones are fake and which ones are not, even though I'd just been sort of gently chastised for bowing down to everybody. So anyway, I thought that over the years, that policy just to accept that the devotees are devotees and they have something, that it's a safe policy. And actually I was very happy to hear, more or less confirmed by Gurudev, years later, when Gurudev is saying that we don't know who's a devotee, so Mahaprabhu gave that formula for us, to be humble, to be tolerant, to give honor to others. And recently we were reading from Holy Engagement about Sannyasi Thakur. It was a Holy Engagement, but the introduction is an excerpt from Jaiva Dharma, the introduction of that book, showing the glories, the glorious position of devotees. And Sannyasi Thakur, he'd had a dream, but not like our dreams, but like a dream, a vision, clear experience, you can say, of the devotees chanting, wearing tilak, dhoti. It mentions the 3 strands of tulsi around their necks. And he had this vision and saw the Mahaprabhu's associates in this clear experience that he had in the night. And when he woke up in the morning, he just felt, I want to be I want to join those people. That is so enlivening and enriching. So he was a sannyasi, but he was a Mayavad sannyasi. So immediately he changed his cloth into what he saw, which was the Vaishnava dress. He put on 3 rounds of tilak. He put on tilak, and he was converted from the Mayavad impersonal sannyas to Vaishnavism overnight, which is pretty good if we can do it. But he was converted overnight. But then he was already somehow well established as a sannyasi, and people looked to him. At that time, the Ekadanda sannyasi was the leader of society. Everyone in society respected them, which is actually why Mahaprabhu, why externally, one reason why Mahaprabhu took sannyas, because he's feeling that the local people, they're just treating him, they think I'm one of them. So if I do something drastic, then by social etiquette of the time, they'll have to give respect, and then they will be cleared of any offenses. But Sannyasi Thakur is saying in the translation, Sannyasi Thakur, he was established as a sannyasi. He was looked up to in society. But for himself, he changed into a Vaishnava. But then after that, he found, people are now coming to give me honor as a Vaishnava. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for any honor. I've had honor as a sannyasi. I've had this, that, and the other. But here I am. I just want to be servant of the Vaishnavas. And then he said, it's written there, it's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's description. He then says to himself, Sannyasi Thakur says to himself, how can I now adjust to this? The people are going to give me honor and give me praise from the Vaishnava section. That, I've come from that to this, this is great. And then he starts to think, this is very dangerous for me, because any ego, any pride, all these things. So, what am I to do? And then he said, I've heard repeatedly this message of this instruction of Mahaprabhu. Trinadapi sunichena taroreva sahishnuna amanina manadina kirtaniya saraharihi. And then that Sannyasi Thakur, he took shelter of that. He took shelter of this. He took that into his heart. And then with the Vaishnavas he associated, and leaving any praise but giving acknowledgement to the Vaishnavas. And incidentally, his name then was changed from Sannyasi Thakur to Vaishnava Das.
Yeah, Vaishnava Das.
Vaishnava Das. Yeah, his name was changed from that to Vaishnava Das. Servant of the Vaishnavas.
Superior position.
But Trinadapi Sunichana Taroriva Sahishnana. So anyway, I recently read that, and having just a few days before that being told something by 2 of my friends, who their kindness allowed me to be their friends in this room, told me of a date which was coming up, and they say, and one of our group is having their Vyasa Puja, or their appearance day. Honestly, I was trying to think who it was. Really, and I was going through, no, it's not him. No, who is it? Then they're kind of looking at me strange. And I thought, no, this really is not what we are wanting. However, Maharaj makes the point that we came to the mission, and this is actually the 40th year since I joined, means I joined 1980 in in ISKCON, and I'm grateful to I am grateful to everybody in ISKCON who helped us in so many ways. We are grateful to all. But it's 40 years since we joined, so we think, okay, well, I've been in the mission for like more than 1 month and a week, or more 1 month and 10 days, and we've been graced to have like super association of the Vaishnavas, the Vaishnava servant from like all categories, from really from the servant of all categories, but through to the great master Vaishnavas of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, who we had that personal association and personal connection, and we have been with them by their grace. Again, by their grace. We're with the Vaishnavas by the Vaishnavas' grace, by the Lord's mercy. So, having been just over a month and 10 days in the mission, and having had their association, and we can pray and think that, what they say must be right. They have some attention for us in their lives. So we are here and now in a position to try to share and to try to keep newcomers and others and each other, so we're all on the straight and narrow. Because actually, Maharaj knows the verse. I'm afraid I can't say very good. I'm not good at all in Sanskrit after all this time. But also is told that Vaishnavism, our devotional path, sometimes it is like walking on a knife's edge, to go this way, to go this way. We have to stay straight. We have to be very careful. So we have the association of the Vaishnavas helping each other to stay on the balance nicely on the knife's edge, and we have also the association of the devotees who are coming, those new generation who, like us, knew nothing before. So at least something we can say, something we can share. And I have witnesses here. It was not my desire to take sannyas. It was not my desire to take any teacher position, but it was put on us, and so we need to understand we are getting older, and sad to say, disciples of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada are leaving this world one by one. So it is wrong not to say something, not to share, not to put some perspective that really we feel maybe wrongly, and we can be corrected by our peers, etc. But we can feel, this is what Guru Maharaj wanted, this is what Gurudev wanted, this is what they directed, this is what they said, this is how they dealt in these situations. So this role just has come automatically, but from the devotees, they are asking that we take these roles. So we are taking these roles. And somebody must do this. We can't all sit back and say, somebody else will do. So we are here to serve in the mood that we are serving our masters. They want us to share the nourishment that they've given. Not that they've just talked to 20 people, 30 people, whatever it is, and given something, and then, okay, now I've told you, now don't tell anybody else. You just go into a cave and relish that. They want us to share that. So this is what makes me sit here today, along with some other friends who made me sit here today, wouldn't give me the car keys. And this way, we're here to serve. So practical things, at least we can try to assist with.
Jai, Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan
Jai.
Savirbha Mahamahosavati.
Okay, Maharaj, at least the second part. I'm not sure about all of this.
Hare Krishna. Well, one thing that comes to my mind as we hear what we've got from Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and it was something captured my attention many years ago, because it was something Prabhupada wrote for Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur at a Vyas Puja celebration in Bombay, and it was probably early 1930s or so, maybe 35, just before Saraswati Thakur was leaving the world. And that he wrote it. It was a little different, his language, and then he delivered it as his address to all the devotees there. But what he said, part of what he said, was that he said, when we speak, or he said first, this assembly, he said, it is not a sectarian concern. Right? He said, for when we speak of the principle of Gurudev or Acharya Dev, we speak of something that it is of universal application. And therefore, he said, there is no distinguishing, my guru from your guru or anyone else's. He said, there is only one guru who appears to us in an infinity of forms to instruct you and me and all others. And I pointed out at some other times that if this weren't in black and white and from the pen of Srila Prabhupada, there are many devotees who would challenge that, of his own followers. They wouldn't recognize that that's him telling you about Guru Tattva, the Guru, he says, the fundamental principle of Gurudev. It doesn't sound like the Prabhupada that they claim to have known. Not everyone, but I think some. But still, it's there, black and white. It's from the pen of Srila Prabhupada saying, there is only one Guru who appears to us in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. Therefore, the Guru principle, Guru Tattva. Right? And it is not to demean the position of any Guru by saying that, but rather to, of all, Guru-following people, to bring their eyes to the attention to the inspired side of a particular Vaishnava, where undeniably so one sees Guru. Right? That's a good thing. Remember, Sanatana Goswami Prabhu is this Bhakti Siddhanta Acharya. And what is his book about? This Brihad Bhagavatamrita. He has other, but that book is special. And it can be described in many, many ways. It's infinite. But one way is also, I choose now on this occasion to say, the recognition of Guru. In other, we say, Narada, who's Devarshi Narada? He's like the Guru of everyone in one sense. And what is he doing? He's coming to some devotees and saying, oh, you're the best devotee. He's seeing Guru there. Right? And then they're going, oh, Prabhu, why are you telling this? There are other devotees in a superior position than us. Like Maharaj is telling, from day one, meeting the devotees, and then coming in time, if we listening to what he's saying, understanding gradation, which means to give full recognition to everyone, but with your eyes open and through devotional culture, to understand there are gradation of devotees, there are gradation of gurus. When Guru Maharaj said there are no big mantras for big gurus and little mantra for little gurus, he didn't mean there are no big gurus or little gurus. He's just saying, but the mantra is the same. Right? There are big gurus, and everything in between. But he's saying, but the mantra is the same. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Who opened my eyes. I was distracted by what we call the world. And Gurudev mercifully opened my eyes to a new way of seeing that a life of service is a wonderful life. I was thinking that a life of being a master was the way to go, to make myself the center of everything, the measure of all things. But he's showing me the path of service is the path to happiness and love and affection. So anyway, Prabhupada said that there and his glorification of Saraswati Thakur. Right? There's one Guru who reveals himself through an infinity of forms to teach you and me and others. And I thought, how beautiful is that. And I remember when I came to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, when I had the shocking discovery and epiphany that who was before me was Sri Guru. And I was a quote-unquote, hardcore, Prabhupada man, a Prabhupada disciple. But I couldn't deny that who was before me, that same current that I got from Srila Prabhupada, was alive and well, even enhanced before me. And I was ready to get up and dance and celebration. And you can hear on the tape, you may not know what I'm talking about, because some of these tapes are in fragments, but I say to Guru Maharaj, I said to him, I didn't know it could be like this. Meaning then it's hit me like, you mean there's a world of these Mahabhagavata, it's unthinkable. One, to discover a second, Gurudev, a third, and then Guru Maharaj saying, that's the major world, is populated by such souls. And this, we're in the penal colony of the disobedient, forgetful soul. It's like minuscule. The real world is, and I think that's too much for me to comprehend, but happily too much. A wonderful thing. We were talking earlier when you see these great devotees like Gopinath Acharya, Pratap Rudra Maharaj made it into the poetry of Rupa Goswami. He's sweeping before Jagannath. He massages the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And what are they doing? Appreciating all the devotees coming from Bengal, all the Mahabhagavad, and with eagerness saying, can you point them out and tell me who's who? And I see, Mahaprabhu sending his assistants to Garland, to Advaita, Nityananda Prabhu. This is Krishna consciousness, right? To the recognition and celebration of devotion in others. That's what it is, kind of beginning, middle, and end. The recognition and celebration of devotion in others. That's what this Brihad Bhagavatamritam does, and takes us so beautifully, without our hardly even noticing along the way, it ends up at the lotus feet of Radharani and Brajagopis. Sanatana Goswami starts off with Shalagram worshipping Brahmins, and you end up at the lotus feet of Radharani and the Brajagopis. How great he is. And the same thing with Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. They capture our attention with the Susiddhanta of Guru Maharaj and the personification of love and affection of Gurudev, and take us toward the service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and the Brajagopis and the Rupa Nuga line. We don't even realize to what degree it is our good fortune. So, Srila Guru Maharaj, or actually I want to mention Sri Krishna. Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, there's this very beautiful verse, it occurs in the 18th chapter. Basically, the whole talk is nearing its conclusion. It's the substance was there, and some praise for the actual Bhagavad Gita is there as well. And saying, wherever there's Krishna and Arjuna, then there has to be victory, success, etc. But one thing Krishna says is, Nacha tasman manusheshu kastyan me priyakritama. He says, and I say that one who, and that conversation, Bhagavad Gita, but not limited to, and Guru Maharaj says it this way, he says, those who are nourishing my devotees with this divine substance, he's saying, there is no one more dear to me in the world. It's right there in Bhagavad Gita, but as extracted by Guru Maharaj said, this is really some special appreciation and praise for those who are distributing Krishna consciousness and nourishing the devotees. And we see that in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, that Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, they had the faith, the confidence, and Srila Madhusudan Maharaj to make him the secretary of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And to this day, he's doing that very thing of nourishing all the nourishing the worldwide mission with the instructions of Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, and including Srila Prabhupada. Right? Not his own, what he's managed to observe about the external world and his experience in dealing with that, but the divine devotional experience, particularly at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat in Navadvip. But there's a lot of divine devotional experience going on there. And many different circumstances, many different situations, and always at the side of Srila Gurudev. And I was fortunate also to be situated at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev from time to time, and he would sing the praise of Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, known for many years as Mahananda Das Bhakti Ranjan. And it reminds me of a time, because we thought of all these different circumstances, and Gurudev was saying what they'd been through together over the years. Srila Gurudev entrusted all his finances with him, all of it. You had to come to Madhusudan Maharaj, Mahananda Prabhu at the time, for a penny, a paisa. Gurudev would say to me something, he goes, "Maharaj, you know I am miser man." He said, but when it comes to building the mat, the temple, the Sevak Bhavan, then to Mahananda, Madhusudan, then I'm spending money like water, right? But that tap, would be turned on off by him under the instruction. And so when Gurudev says, "You know I'm miser man," what he means by this, like he can't tolerate that 1 rupee will be misspent. Who does he entrust that to? Him. Bhakti Lalita knows once going to London. We're at the Calcutta airport, and it's going to be British Airways. Right? And we have to wait for some time there. And she said, "Oh, Gurudev, would you like, I can get some garam jal?" And I can still say, Gurudev said, like this, with his lati, his stick, and he said, "Not with Mahaprabhu's taka." Taka is the Bengali slang for rupees, So say it was 5 rupees. He would not spend that. A nickel, let's say. He said like this, "Not with Mahaprabhu's taka." And he said, "And soon there will be, I'm traveling business." He's traveling business class, but he won't spend 5 rupees on it. So that type of precision, I've also seen with Srila Prabhupada, counting the coins people gave at a Bombay Palmdal, making sure that they were all accounted for, because that is their service. That sort of fastidiousness, you could say, if that's still a word.
As far as I know.
We're the only 2 people that know what it means. but accounting and these things, right? So, you know what I'm talking about. That Madhusudan Maharaj, Gurudev, he's worry-free that, crores of rupees will be under him. And the shared experience they had, almost like a team, a partnership, with Madhusudan Maharaj, as his charioteer, you could say. And, in the Tata Suma, or varieties of vehicles that I prefer to call chariots at this point. He's the charioteer of Srila Gurudev. Gurudev can drift off into some divine slumber because he's worry-free. Madhusudan Maharaj is at the wheel. Right. And so, and sometimes Gurudev, reflecting upon their years together in this partnership and service to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, and sometimes very difficult situations, that when we say Gurudev practically chewing on his arm,
yes,
to tolerate.
Yes.
Like sometimes, when you have to experience something that is just absolutely intolerable, the medics, they put something in your mouth and say, "Bite on this." Gurudev is biting on his arm, his own arm, to try and tolerate that which is otherwise intolerable. But through all those situations and circumstances, Dave told me, and it's very beautiful, poetic, he said, but the Mahananda flower blossoms under all circumstances.
Jai Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. And it's so beautifully put, and it's so poetic and deserving of poetic consideration. Right? The Mahananda flower blossoms under all circumstances. That is the mood and dynamic of a servitor. Anytime you hear Srila Madhusudan Maharaj interacting with devotees, and notice so over the years, it's not a recent, it's always over the years, is his question to them is, how can I serve? Right? Use me. Guru Maharaj liked that very much. When he said, when the devotees, that we must come to the point of considering that we are the fodder for Krishna. Fodder. Okay? Not the father of... Fodder means, like, most commonly asserted with ammunition, right? That you put in a cannon. It's called cannon fodder, right? You stuff it in there and it blasts away. It becomes nothing, but it helps achieve some result. So, but here, that's in the mundane world. Here we see if you offer yourself as the fodder for the service of Guru, you don't become nothing. You become transformed into something angelic, divine, praiseworthy, worshipable. Right? So Guru Maharaj liked that expression very much, to say, to offer oneself to be used by the Lord. Service is never to use the Lord, the holy name, the paraphernalia, or the association of devotees to serve our lower purpose, but to offer ourselves in service to its higher purpose. And whatever the consequences are, for us, is no consideration. That sort of spirit is most identifiable and personified in Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj. And that name, title given really by Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Bhakti Ranjan. All these things, according to living interpretation and necessity, can be, different meanings can be extracted. The one thing is, and we see it as observable in him, that he delights in devotional practices and activities. Right? He's, as much as he's doing for others, he's also personally delighting in that. And as he mentioned, and I told to our visiting monk earlier, that when I heard that he's teaching others, and we're trying to offer some, like, practice Mahaprabhu's teachings, giving honor to others. And I said, recalling what Guru Maharaj says, and it's in line with what Srila Prabhupada did by bringing Krishna consciousness for the rest of the world and the universe, is so you could go off on your own and do your practices. Prabhupada could have stayed in Vrindavan at the Radha Damodar temple very happily, there with every day the beautiful darshan of the deities, the circumambulation of Rupa Goswami, Samadhi, Bhajan Kutir, and all the wonderful... And Maharaj leads those parikramas himself, for those who are fortunate enough to attend. But that in itself is a happy life, which I don't think you would disagree, right? And the Govardhan Parikrama, you could do if you do the rest of your life doing that, as we see some people are doing, it's a faultless position, actually. But Srila Guru Maharaj will say, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that's not the type of sadhu that he created, who will seal themselves off of the world for their own betterment, whether in a cave, or what's that other word? Gopur, what do they call it? That little cave they stay in, the sadhus. It has another name, starts with Go. Anyway, Govinda. Govinda, Govinda. So, he's saying, but because there was someone, he was chanting a lack of Krishna Nam in one of the, and he finally came out, and Guru Maharaj said, Saraswati Thakur was right. That's not the way to go. And to show the logic of the strategy, we can always depend on Guru Maharaj. He's saying, one way you're feeding yourself. He always gives an appropriate example. He said, but there's another way, by distributing to others, you're also getting nourishment. And he said, that is preferable. And this is not to any way slight the great Babajis of the world who through their internal culture, they're participating in direct Leela. We worship that. They're our Guru Varga. But we want to, in a sense, take the good news to others. So back to what Krishna said, one who's nourishing others with this divine substance, they're doing they're most dear to me, and they're doing the best seva. So when Maharaj asks repeatedly, how can I serve you or use me? Really, the way, the best use of him is in nourishing others, and that ends up nourishing him, as we've seen, borne witness to his developing divine devotional personality. Really? And so it's something that's, and was that 3 Ds? Developing divine devotional. Guru Maharaj likes that. 3D. But he gave another 3D at another time. Which, because someone will ask, I'll say, he said, dollars, diplomacy, and despotism in the name of devotion, dedication, and divinity. I went, Maharaj, that's 6. It's 3D times 2. But that said, so here we are, we have the necessity to be nourished from the divine substance that's come down, like I told. Prabhupada wasn't content to stay in that Radha Damodar temple. Why? Vilasatu Riddhi Nityam Bhakti Siddhantavani. Kept hearing. Saraswati Thakur doesn't favor that. He wants distribution. Kirtan means a fight. I was looking at this, one of the famous slokas about approaching Guru. Tad Vigyanartam Sa Guru Mev Bigach Chet Samik Pani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Because what it says, the Samit Pani means bring your own fuel or fire. In other words, the Guru, the ritual is you're going to do a sacrifice, right? You're coming to get Diksha from the Guru. So that means there has to be firewood. Should the Guru supply the firewood or should you? It's and don't worry about it. You go, well, when I got it, it was already all there. All right, that's Gaudiya Math, that's ISKCON, we're making all these arrangements. But it doesn't fail in Guru Maharaj. I mean, it's not like I figured this out. I heard of him. He's saying, the disciple, come with the wood, right? He'll do the yajna. And what is Guru Maharaj? Again, he's extracting the meaning before we get hung up on wood and fires and stuff. He's saying, what it means is, you've got to offer yourself to this. And that I see Maharaj doing day after day and throughout the day. He's offering himself to others. He's allowing them to use him as a conduit to the current of Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and by extension, Srila Prabhupada. And I thought about this the other day, that as we were talking about Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, and like, in the case of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and we see, and it's even up to and including this day, people may have never met him, but like they'll read Sri Guru and His Grace, and they'll undergo a conversion experience. It happened in his lifetime, it's still happening. And really, you get him in the book. The Guru Maharaj in the book and the Guru Maharaj that we met, we could tell some stories or sweet interaction, but pretty much the Guru Maharaj in the book is the Guru Maharaj. It is Guru Maharaj. So he's personified in these things. So people will read it and they undergo this conversion experience. In the case of Srila Gurudev, they underwent the conversion experience by meeting him, coming in his relativity. And this was sort of the 1-2 punch, for lack of a better expression, of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, as people would come and they would hear Srila Guru Maharaj, and then they would come downstairs and be in the realm of Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. And they would get this, they would be overwhelmed by the love and affection and the kind of treatment that they received when they came to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. There were these two things together, Guru Maharaj in the Susiddhanta world, and then Gurudev overwhelming them with love and affection and respectful reception. So when they walked out of the mat, they were just like, what was that? That experience that they had. And so the Susiddhanta of Guru Maharaj is available in the books, and Maharaj is thoroughly acquainted with that, and he made so many books for Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. Right. But then I thought, who's carrying on that tradition of the love and affection and that overwhelming personal interaction that you got when you came to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat? That side of the equation. And then an image of Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj appeared in my mind. And so he, in addition to all these other things, carries on that tradition, the garland at the airport, the prasadam, the affectionate and respectful greeting of devotees who have come from different parts of the world. And when I see that tradition of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat alive and well in Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj. And so in so many ways, and I consider my own good fortune that he is there for me to consult, like, what would Gurudev do under this circumstance? What would Guru Maharaj do? And he has this vast experience that he has achieved, being firmly, irremovably separated from the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Ranjan, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. A connection with all three. And the current is alive and well and being enhanced by his presence. So it's all of our good fortune. Everyone knows who has the opportunity to hear Govinda outside your door, or what was the other thing we hear? Anybody home? How much joy when I would be moping around, at the Sevak Bhavan, when I hear anybody home, I go, oh, thank God, it's Madhusudan, like outside my door. Some happiness is coming my way. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahutavatiti Ki Jai.
Maharaj has a wonderful way to try to draw these qualities out of a living entity. So if we can actually have the qualities he describes, it will be a wonderful day, Maharaj.
Kabe Habe Bolo Sayedina Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Like Maharaj said, being inseparable with Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. When I'm personally thinking of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, Guru Maharaj comes in mind, Gurudev comes in mind. I'm talking about, let's just talk about Navadvip, because devotees may get offended. Oh, how about me? How about me?
Yeah.
Navadvip, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. It's Guru Maharaj, it's Gurudev, and Mahananda. That's what comes to my mind, really, these three personalities.
Hare Krishna.
And
we worship all of them.
I worship
and
all of
including,
them, no
but
doubt.
we're talking specifically, it is Maharaj's
Yes.
appearance.
Yes, and really, that form of Mahananda is eternal, because that was the epitome of service. And the
Yeah.
form of Madhusudan Maharaj is also eternal. So
Yeah.
both of them are coexisting and in a way inseparable, but
Yes.
different manifestations of one who is fully dedicated his life to the service. And recently, about a couple of years ago, I was hearing so many stories about Malaysia from Malaysian devotees.
Yes.
Not from Maharaj. He would never tell
Yeah.
those stories.
Yes.
They would come and they will tell the glories of Madhusudana Maharaj when he was in his younger days preaching there. And I would try to...
On the motorcycle.
Yes, on a motorcycle. I would try to pull some of these stories, and sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I'm not successful. But when I'm successful, he's giving all the credit to his partner. His superior, Jayata Gauranga.
Yes.
He's always giving the credit. But when we went there, and I was always wanted to go there
Yeah.
with Madhusudana Maharaj and actually see the interactions. Just think about it. A man from England comes to Malaysia, and it's either Chinese, a little Malay people there, but a big majority is the Indian population, the
Yes.
South Indians. And a British man on a motorcycle with books of Srila Guru Maharaj traveling all over and inspiring Indian men to actually follow their own dharma.
Yes.
And that is inconceivable. And not just that. Okay, you may just go around, you may do another round. Oh, it was all successful, they all appreciate it. But till this day, those people are going on. So he took me to those places.
Yeah.
The places where he preached, the centers that were open there because he got them inspired. And there was always a feeling of a big family, like a father or uncle. I don't say just say uncle.
Some of them sat like Nakul and they were like children, like this, when Maharaj was touring.
They were not existing.
Some of them not even born,
non-existent.
but they remember seeing this person, and then they grew up.
Until this day, this is one of the strongest missions of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati in the world. I mean, Malaysian do amazing. And I was wondering, where did they inherited those qualities? What was the example of the Vaishnava for them? And then I realized it all came from Mahananda Das at that time.
Hare
Sri Bhaktiranjan Madhusudana Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
And Maharaj, what can I say? I have something written by a person. Let's just call him Vaishnava Das. I would like to read, if nobody objects.
But we would like to know who is written by.
Doesn't matter, Vaishnava Das did.
It says at the end, written by Vaishnava Das.
Well, now I'm suspicious. I think here is Vaishnava Das.
Oh, okay.
On this most auspicious day
Vaishnava Das
of
Anudas.
Vaishnava appearance, I'm humbly offering my obeisances at the worshipable feet of Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudana Maharaj. Faithful and true disciple to Srila Guru Maharaj, dear friend and servitor of Srila Gurudev. He dedicated his life to a single purpose, to fulfill every desire of our divine masters. Thus fortunate souls can see that they are fully manifested, they means Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, fully manifested in his heart. He is the personification of Seva, fully absorbed in thoughts how to satisfy our Guru Varga and the Vaishnavas. Always teaching by his own example, he sweetly and humbly encouraging everyone to always remember and never forget Krishna. You do that, right? One of your favorite. To always serve the Vaishnavas and never leave their company. To always enthusiastically chant the holy names, avoiding offenses, and inspire others to do so. He is a true and unstoppable Parivrajak Acharya, whose only goal is to carry the message of Lord Gauranga to all the hungry souls around the world. Just by his holy presence, he inspires in others thoughts of a true meaning of life and awakens desire to chant the holy names. On our pilgrimage to Holy Dham, he is our affectionate guardian. In our service engagement, he is our general. In the assembly of the devotees, he is a perfect gentleman. Wherever there is a chance to serve the Vaishnavas, he will be first to take it and generously share it with others, thus supremely benefiting all those fortunate souls. When there is even a slightest chance of Vaishnava Seva, there is no mountain he cannot climb, no river he cannot cross, no path he cannot walk. He is constantly giving us hope with his sublime and nourishing Harikatha, and fills our hearts with joy by sweet and enthusiastic Hari Kirtan. He is the epitome of Bhaktivinoda instructions. Hari Sevaka Sevana Dharma Paro Harinama Rasamrita Panarato Nati Dainya Daya Paramana Yuto Vajagodru Makana Kunja Vidum. Remaining devoted to the service of the Vaishnavas, being addicted to drinking the sweet nectar of the name of Hari, and with mentality endowed with modesty, humility, and compassion, just worship Lord Gaura, the moon of Godrama's forest.
Yeah.
Maharaj, I have no doubt that you can take me to the lotus feet of my divine master and engage me there in divine service. So please do not consider my disqualifications and countless offenses, and always extend your merciful Vaishnava shelter to this fallen soul. Your guardianship and affectionate friendship are the source of my greatest happiness.
Hare Krishna. Vaishnava Das Anudas.
Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Just the last thing I want to mention, every time Gurudev would come to Thailand, I would receive call from Maharaj, saying that, not from Mahananda, that I'm saying that now the great responsibility is on your shoulders, Prabhu. Do not fail.
Yes.
And I was always thinking, of course, that will be failing all the devotees around the world, but I was always thinking of Mahananda in Navadvip, that I should not fail. So in any difficult situation, I was always thinking about him, remember his form, and really, when we come to Navadvip, just seeing him would put us in a, what will you say, Maharaj? Adjust us in every way, makes us at least, a temporary imitation of a good Vaishnava, in my case. But
Hare Krishna.
I can say something. You are saying so many things, my most respectful Vaishnava God brothers and friends saying so many things, but really we don't feel this, except we can say that Gurudev, he just automatically, when you're with him, you're automatically doing the things that you are saying, but the devotees are doing all these things. It is Gurudev's nature and quality, Guru Maharaj's nature and quality. You cannot be doing other things. It is just that when you're there, this is their magnetism. Automatically our iron filings are at least pointing in the right direction.
Yes.
It is not our quality. It is their glory. Actually, really it is like that.
Jai Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, Avirbhav Mahamahoti.
Lalita, so to speak, she is part of the secretariat.
Yes.
Now what's Lalita going to say? Be careful. No
Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, Mahananda Prabhu Bhaktiranjan has been a boss for myself and so many of us for so long.
See, I'm a boss, not a dad. Understand? See?
We call him,
Bossy.
one of his nicknames is Boss. And that Mahananda flower, there's a little history that in Bengali that flower is called Rangana. And you'll see here that little hill with the temple. Those flowers are called Rangana. And they're all over the temple in Navadvip Mat, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And you'll see when the floods come, the water will go all the way close to the top of the bushes, and you'll see these Ranganas underwater, but still blooming. And so Gurudev renamed these flowers from Rangana to Mahananda, that under all circumstances they're blooming. On Madhusudan Maharaj's example, he's epitomizing
Whether flood or
Madhusudan
drought.
Maharaj. Under any condition, whether it's winter, summer, flooded, getting no water, any condition, that flower is always blossoming. So
That's the dog we're chastising here, just so that you know, not Lalita.
we're seeing this, that wherever he goes, whatever conditions there may be, and oftentimes unsuitable conditions, living with so many, and festivals, going here and there, and globe-trotting, and so much difficulty encountering on preaching and traveling, he's blossoming under all these conditions. Whether he's in India on parikrama or locked down in Thailand with us, traveling the world, wherever he's going, wherever he may be, he's blossoming. And blossoming to me, and in my essence of what I feel about Maharaj is that he's bringing home comfort wherever he goes. He's bringing Gurudev, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, bringing Navadvip Mat everywhere he goes, to every temple, to every ashram, to every home, to every heart.
We wish to,
because
that is truly
that's your
worthwhile.
gift to the world, and we've been so blessed to have you as our boss, our guardian, our friend. And it's a very happy day, the day you appeared in this world. And we thank you for, I'll quote Jivanaditi, thank you for being on the planet. Thank you for breathing and blessing us all. And please continue. Stay with us for a long time to come.
Jai
Many
Gurudev,
more.
Jai Guru Maharaj. Honestly.
On the
That-
lockdown subject,
Yeah.
you said lockdown with us. We may be locked down, but he is not locked down.
No, his preaching expanded.
Exactly.
And also, just two things to remember, as many times in his, as his disappearance pastimes approaching, it was, Srila Avadut Maharaj was very concerned about the future and where to take direction from, and almost repeatedly, once a week, he just keeps going back to be sure what Gurudev wanted or expected from us after his departure. And not to take away from anything else that has been said, but I'm just candidly sharing, honestly, every time we would ask this of Srila Gurudev, he would mention Madhusudan Maharaj, or as Mahananda Prabhu, first. Because he's talking, and we're talking particularly to the Western section, you could say. That was our concern. We know Gurudev, we're not questioning the acharjaship of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj. That is clear, unassailable, and that he had done earlier. But when Avadut Maharaj would say, well, what about the Western world, and we have so many. And he would always begin, the first name he would mention, he would say, Mahananda Prabhu, I want that all the devotees, particularly of the Western world, will proceed under his guidance and direction. Repeat, and then he would mention other names, and sometimes mine and others, but first in the list would, and he'd mention Ashram Maharaj, Janardhan Maharaj, give everyone their proper, and of course Avadut Maharaj himself. But whenever Avadut Maharaj would ask this, the first name that would just naturally come out of Srila Gurudev's lotus mouth would be Mahananda Prabhu, now Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj. Because he had that type of faith in the fidelity of his representation of what Gurudev would want in the line of service to Srila Guru Maharaj. Trying to make it that simple. What Gurudev would want in the line of service to the holy lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, because that is our target, always and forever. And the last thing I'll say was, I mentioned Bhakti Ranjan, but as we think of different ways to express it, there's also the concept of Bhakta Ranjan. So Bhakti Ranjan, he's delighting in this Prema Bhakti, this devotional line, but also Bhakta Ranjan, and sharing that same delight and nourishing the Bhakta section, and they're becoming happy, which is the experience that we all have. Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Someone else would like to say a few words? Ajitasha, she's an expert in the English language. Say, a few words. We did the so-called lion's share, the major share of the speaking, so you can say.
Sorry, I was not prepared. But I have something to say, just a little bit.
Yes.
When I started to think about spiritual life, that it's possible for me, and I can come closer, and I should search some guru, I was so happy, and I was very lucky that this person came very fast to me. And actually, as every woman, I have too much doubt in my mind always, and only one thing I was never doubt about when I saw Madhusudan Maharaj at first time, I was sure this is my guru.
Excellent.
So, and I became an improvement.
That was probably the best decision you've ever made in your life.
And the devotees, they gave me a lot of literature to read about some spiritual things. And I remember this moment, I opened some of these books, and first line I saw, it was Madhusudan means the person who is conquered the demon of doubt.
Yes.
So, and I was, yeah, that I understand.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Maharaj, for giving me this chance to conquer the doubt in spiritual life.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, she's hiding, so maybe she doesn't want to say to me. Yes.
No, I want to say, well, I have very fortunate. I have several Palikram experience with Madhusudan Maharaj. So first we went to Nepal. I'm so exciting. I can go Himalaya first. And of course, like Gopabhata, Goswami, and Shaligram Shila, those pastimes. So, but when we go there, and after 1-2 days, I realize actually it's not about Himalaya. It's not about that sadhu. It's Madhusudan Maharaj. And we all know he's very humble. He's always serving us. And sometimes we have rest. And he's going to find some place for us to rest. And there's only 2 rooms. So he just gave his place to me, and he stay outside, like the balcony place, just lie on the floor. So that's very touching. And whatever, like we are so tired at the end of the day, and he connect us to continue some programs. So after that, I realized actually you don't need to go to Himalaya or Muktinath temple to search for liberation. There's the one perfect person just beside you. You just need to follow him. And at the final day, we reach Muktinath. That's very, very difficult day, and it's Ekadashi. So for any reason, I will not follow Ekadashi, if just myself. But because Madhusudan Maharaj, we follow Ekadashi, and even the day Ramachandra appearance day, we fast until noontime. We just eat one very small apple.
And you're climbing a mountain.
Yeah, but
right.
See, we're walking long distance, and but you didn't feel any not
weakness.
Comfortable. Yeah, you are full energy, like
I
follow
was the
him.
cause of suffering for others. You see, she remembers these details.
No, that's very
She
beautiful
felt some
memories.
special energy.
Yes. So.
Hare Krishna.
yeah, like, so now I understand why guru means heavy, like heavy than Himalaya. So, okay. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
So, I'm always afraid to say something stupid, but I still want to say something to Maharaj. So, my first time when I spent some longer time with Maharaj was in America. We went to the festival, Lightning in the Bottle festival, to preach with Avadut Maharaj. And everybody's mentioning that Maharaj is very humble, and I could witness that because he slept in a tent, like in a camping tent, and like he preached to all these festival people who are even difficult to like communicate even for me, but Maharaj was like preaching to them and talking to them, answering their questions, and I really didn't know all the background, and at that time that Maharaj was serving Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, so to me it was amazing that he could really go all the way down to your level and the level of all these festival goers and make them feel comfortable, and they don't even guess like how like about this huge background that this wonderful person has. So this is what in retrospect like seemed like really amazing to me, because when I met him there I just didn't realize, but then it was like really wow to me that he really go super low down to our level and makes us feel comfortable, and we don't even like get what is behind all this. So thank you, Maharaj.
We're very happy to be with you and the devotees there, but we have to wonder how much the public could digest in the state that they were. 99.9% of them are in. But it's an eye-opener to see different things that take place in the world, and also in the name of like spiritualism, etc.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Nityananda Das.
Well, first I met Maharaj in 2016 by the
2000 and what?
16.
Ah.
It was in Moscow during the Veda Life Festival. And I heard a lot about the great Madhusudan Maharaj, Mahananda Prabhu. I really regret that I missed the opportunity to see him here when I was just a short period of time staying here by the end of 2015. But I was lucky a year later to meet Madhusudan Maharaj in Moscow. And it was that very year when I for the first time met Prithu Prabhu. And by his grace, I was allowed to accompany Madhusudan Maharaj to his preaching tour to the south of Russia and to Abkhazia.
Mm-hmm.
So we traveled together.
On the trains?
No trains, but airplane.
Airplane. Oh, okay.
To Sochi, then
Yes.
Krasnodar. Krasnodar first, and after that Sochi, and after that Abkhazia, where we met Hrishikesh Maharaj, and he took us to Abkhazia, to Sukhum. And of course I was unnerved because of my poor English, my disqualification as a novice, just recently joining the mission and being as a clumsy assistant for such an exalted person. And but mercifully, Madhusudan Maharaj, just as a paragon of humility, patience, was tolerating me all the way long. And I just, when Maharaj keeps saying like, I can feel that Govindadev Goswami Maharaj is smiling right now, and it's really, I mean, I start feeling that. I started feeling the same, and for me, Madhusudan Maharaj is the pure representative of Srila Govindadev, and I can see how beautiful is our family with all the senior Vaishnavas that we were fortunate. I don't even realize how fortunate I am to see all of you together distributing the teachings of Guru Maharaj and Govindadev Goswami Maharaj and all Rupanuga Guru Varga. And being locked down with you here, with Avadut Maharaj also, even he was on the
Aren't
seashore.
we supposed to lock down with the Vaishnavas eternally? I mean, isn't that that's Sangha association?
It is the only way to undergo all these sufferings. So.
Whether by force or any other method.
And just having your association is a great fortune for me, and so many things I want to say more, but Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsav Tithi Ki Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dandavat, Dandavat. Prithu Prabhu.
Aha. We invoked.
Please speak
Prithu.
louder.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavat Prithu Prabhu. Govinda, Govinda,
Maybe
Govinda.
go sit next to Madhusudan Maharaj and then turn the camera toward them.
Well, I have to do this. Just give me a
I can
second.
hear him, but you may
No,
probably...
Yeah, but then
they
the
all want
cam-
to say Dandavat.
Oh. Oh, whole group. Dandavat Vaishnava Thakuras.
Maharaj, like divine Devarshan Narada, he travels around the world and around the universe and liberating everyone who he will meet, who will hear divine play of his Veena, not liberating the supreme
Nityananda.
Bhakti. Like that, Maharaj, you also traveling around the world and giving Bhakti to everyone who hears your divine words, your divine preaching. So please may your divine voice to be heard louder and louder around the world, and please bestow upon us your blessings, your mercy, and we hope to be somehow useful, in service to your divine feet.
Prithu Prabhu, you... Yes, Srimad Mahavir Maharaj Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees there in Prithu Desh.
Prithu Dham.
Prithu Dham Ki Jai.
Lakta Dham.
Lakta Dham. And to Vijay Raman Prabhu, of course, look at all the gathering here. So something good happened today. Lots of devotees came together. Prithu Prabhu, my Dandavat Pranam to you, to Maharaj, to all of the team there, and appreciate very much your words. You are known as a very good storyteller. We appreciate.
Very good.
Danda.
Yadu Krishna Prabhu of Moscow sent his
Okay then. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
Guru Maharaj's family, Gurudev's family, we are all the family, and we are with family and we feel like it. So
Yes.
living naturally, nothing. One more. Who is one more? Tungabidya Devirasi. Okay, but living as family, happily. So these things which you are describing, they're the nature of the family members. What can we say? It is Gurudev's grace, Guru Maharaj's grace that we are here also, the family. Yes?
Just want to share one story. When I just came to devotees, one story happened. So it's really funny and I want to share it. There were two devotees who came to Maharaj to ask about the initiation. And it was Prabhu and Didi. Of course, he asked them why they decided to get initiation from him. And Prabhu, he was kind of prepared and he answered very, very fast and very good. But Didi, actually, she didn't know what to answer. And she said something like, well, there are Goswami Maharaj and Avadhut Maharaj and you. And Madhusudan Maharaj answered something like, well, third place is not so bad. So actually, since that, Maharaj is like one of the greatest example of like, I don't know, of spiritual practice and everything spiritual life for me, and I'm very grateful for it. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
You all have some very special eyes, so we pray to have...
We consider it like a troika. And there's no first, second, or third, just troika.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. But what Maharaj said is very important, and while you're passing the mic, is that at Chaitanya Saraswati Math, it was actually one of Prabhupada, Swami Maharaj's disciples, a lady. And, you know, Guru Maharaj spoke in the dignity, but they wouldn't let the devotees say something that we're doing now. And one lady saying what she liked about Krishna consciousness, he said, I like that we're being given the chance to have a family life with Krishna. And that captured Guru Maharaj's heart and Gurudev's heart, and they would tell this story for the next 35 years. Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. It resonated with them so much. And that's what we never experienced. It was hard for me to think of Chaitanya Saraswati Math as an institution or a religious institution or an organization. It was like our home. We felt like Maharaj, this is our family. Chaitanya Saraswati Math is our family, not an institution, an organization, which it may in fact be, of course, it's those things, but that never resonated with us so much as like feeling of family and heart, the heart-to-heart transaction that we expect in family. Speaking of family, Gaura Nataraj, representing the Gotra of Jagadananda Prabhu Madhumati.
Well, I was lucky to meet Madhusudan Maharaj when I was just a young boy, and I was just 8 years old the first time I came to India. But anyone who knows, if you're around Madhusudan Maharaj...
And you're 8 years old.
You're going to be doing some service. He's a conduit for service. Yeah. Even still now, to this day, he's roping me in for service.
Because he's a cowherd. He knows how to apply the rope.
He was up 5 o'clock this morning on Zoom giving cooking advice this morning. As was Kala Chand, up at 5 a.m. Look and see, wearing tilak, looking very presentable. They joined in. Yes.
But and even doing things I had never done before. He had me editing audio when I was in India, and the second time I was in India.
Yeah, not when he was 8.
No, the second time I was in India, but and doing so many different things that I had never done before, never even thought to do. But with Madhusudan Maharaj's connection, I was able to do those things, and was very happily doing everything with him, and it's just been so nice to be in his association for this time.
Because Gurudev wanted everyone to be busy, so my service was to keep devotees busy.
Yes.
Did he send you to the top of the temple to change the flag?
Multiple times.
Yeah. No, and I would be surprised to see, and now not you and your hand, but sometimes people who may have been considered otherwise unengageable, that when they would come to the mosque, or that they'd come for some other or whatever, to be, what's the word, collared, or there's lassoed, and I was joking, I'm saying the cowherd, they do carry that rope, that,
that's what I should have carried.
Yeah. And I would see, because they would think, we can't get them to do anything, in another context or back where they came. And then coming in connection with Madhusudan Maharaj, they'd be engaged all day and night in the service to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. So he had that magical quality of being able to do that.
That's Gurudev's magical quality, for sure.
Yes.
All of this, Maharaj.
Because Gurudev, it's a fact, he had that vision, when they would, so many of us had come, because Guru Maharaj said, if you didn't attend the program, he'd say, previously, we would give them prasadam and show them the door. That's what Guru Maharaj said. But Gurudev would go, but Maharaj, and who understood Guru Maharaj's policy, he'd go, but Maharaj, they've come from so far, and so we got this divine dispensation, if you want to say, to be dealt with more generously. But, I was going to say, so Gurudev, when he's infused and acting as Guru Maharaj, and the hammer has to come down, so to speak. It's one way. But when it's left to him, he's always finding some excuse to keep us there, to keep us engaged, to ignore our flaws and everything. And so when it would basically be told to Gurudev that someone was doing nothing other than eating and sleeping, he would say, prasadam seva. That service they were doing. And Madhusudan Maharaj was with Gurudev as his right hand at every step of the way to employ this same, I would say, don't mistake it for that there's not an element of firmness there. And discipline, anyone who knows, now we're going to go the other side. It's firm, there's discipline, it's every day, all day, every day. But
his own example.
Yes, by his not expecting others to do something that he himself is not prepared to do or personify. But at the same time, a type of inescapable, gentle sweetness in showing what is the disciplined life of a practitioner. And everyone, speaking of the lockdown, so-called, I'm starting to like that expression. Because Guru Maharaj would say, tie your sikhas, tie it to the lotus feet of the Vaishnava Guru, and when the wind and the waves come to blow you away, you'll be firmly tied to the lotus feet of your Guru. But during this time, especially the devotees here have had the good fortune to get Maharaj's association because of his patience and tolerance and respect for you all, that he is every day, all the time available to sort of go over and over again what are the basic principles of Krishna consciousness, being a member of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And Maharaj somehow does not lose his patience on this. He's willing, ever willing, and delights in teaching the devotees all the principles. Avadut Maharaj will say from 0 to infinity, you want to say A to Z, but particularly to show by his example what it means to be a sincere devotional practitioner on a daily basis and in your life, and how you'll benefit from that in the long run. And when someone mentioned Maharaj's willingness to, sleep, and a large group or something, it's actually his preferred method. Maharaj likes the ashram, the brahmachari ashram, a mat. Guru Maharaj, we forget, a mat was meant for brahmacharis and sannyasis. That's what a mat is. It's a place for brahmacharis and sannyasis exclusively. Then gradually Guru Maharaj, for Krishnamoi Didi, Shankari, he made some very tactical concessions. If you even see where they were allowed to stay, it was really the edge, it was like the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Tata. Like here's the mats over here, and then they're allowed, and then Gurudev, and in time, why Gurudev is giving names like the ashram, Seva Ashram, because it's a community of grihastas, he knows all these things. But so Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, as liberal as it is in its extension, is really this very high standard. Sometimes people would think there were lower standards and saying, what are you talking about? The standards are much higher in what is allowed or not allowed. But Gurudev, in his merciful acceptance of everyone in service to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, his Guru Maharaj, would overlook our flaws, deal with us lovingly and affectionately. But Srila Madhusudan Maharaj somehow maintains that personal strictness and adherence while mercifully distributing to others and ignoring our lack of qualification or participation, which reminds me of the Vaikuntha Vritti of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and that he himself is this perfect example of strictness in devotional practice and participation. But he's willing to loosen it up to allow others to come in, but knowing in this process they'll also be drawn into that zone where their own hearts will want that kind of exclusive love and devotion that he personifies. They'll become addicted to that by getting Maharaj's association and following his guidance and service and your service aspirations.
Maharaj Gurudev used to also say, and we would tell this to the devotees too, to give some inspiration in service. That is, that Gurudev would say, they have traveled so far to come here.
Yes.
It has cost so much money,
yes,
so much time, their own time, they're working people. This is their time.
Yes.
Time, money, everything. They've come here. Why have they come here? Not to sleep.
Yes.
They've come here for savor and association.
Yeah.
And we can think about this also in our life, that we are here, but we've come a long way from the material things, the material general expectations of the world, to come to be with devotees and to be leading a devotional life. So this same theme very much is a living theme. We didn't come to wear tilak, put on devotees and look like a Vaishnava,
yes,
to look like
Kali
a devotee.
Chela.
We came to actually participate, to be of that nature and to do. So this same kind of mood from Gurudev to the devotees, that we are also trying to share what Gurudev is saying with them, and oh yes, I'm here for this. Then we also can remember this in our own day-to-day life and think, yes, we've come in order to engage in seva. And actually seva is the thing all the way through. We see about chanting the holy name, which is the central theme, if you like, but without seva mood, it is, what is it? And associating with the Vaishnavas without seva mood, what is it? It doesn't have the value behind it. So we need to remind ourselves about seva, some opportunity, give something, do something, participate, sponsor something. I mean, whatever it can be, to have that connection of giving. And sacrifice means we are giving up something. And it's like the Harinama Sankirtan is the sacrifice for Kali Yuga, and that has many aspects to it. But let us try together as a family with our wonderful grand guardians, friends, associates.
And one thing I just want to add to that is that and I've thought about this over the last so many months, that for so long we've taken it for granted that we can go to India, go to Vrindavan, Navadip, we're going to the Mat, Navadip Dham Parikrama. And I've always had this like almost anxiety internally that I always considered it a once in a lifetime opportunity. Even if maybe you had the good fortune to do the once in a lifetime opportunity more than once, that's inconceivable. But there was this complacency that just, we can decide when to do that. Oh, I'm going to go Navadip Dham Parikrama, or even the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat itself in Navadvip. Right? Now, for various reasons and circumstances, that's not possible. Then we may begin to realize, I shouldn't have taken that for granted. Those opportunities that I had, those moments that we had at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev or in his divine abode with Srila Guru Maharaj, etc., or those holy places that we could visit, that we could go to Vrindavan. As we sit here now in this assembly, there's no guarantee that we'll ever be able to go there again, to be honest. We don't know. And really, from a devotional point of view, that's not our decision. We like what comes down to us from above. We like to only move under the influence of that current, not our own imposition upon the higher. But that said, how even much more needed it is for Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj and others carrying that same kind of heart and love and affection and level of representation. But he personifies it best, and as the secretary of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, as he's able to go around the world to our various mats and guide and nourish the devotees there to keep them going in the right direction. Sri Rupanuga Kritimati Guru Gauranga Radha Chidhasa. In the words of Srila Guru Maharaj, with this aspiration, under guidance of our Guru Varga, in the Rupanuga line, with this Radhika Madhavasa, what is inconceivable, that plane of service, yet they're bringing us in connection with that. But it's only realized, as Maharaj is telling, in fidelity and service to their holy lotus feet. And I think as Maharaj travels around the world, as he's able to do, under the present circumstances, how much more with greater appreciation the devotees shall be to realize these opportunities are not always there, and they don't come from your own wishes or desires, but rather it's descending from the higher plane. And when Krishna gives you, and Mahaprabhu, they give you this opportunity to get the association, we're told, as I said, Sangsaresmen Karnadopi Satsanga Sevadirninam. If you have a chance, as we all have experienced personally, to get a moment of this sort of association, said Sevadi, it's the treasure that's to be got in this life. So whatever these circumstances have been, let it be a reminder for us not to become complacent about it, but to take advantage of this association. He's like the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat personified in a moving form.
Hare Krishna.
Let's go. And you can go there and get Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and this flow, which is so vital for our spiritual lives. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Acharya Asatara Satasri Srimad Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande. We want to have the
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhi Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, and all the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The unassembled, disassembled, some assembly required. Come on. He who hesitates is lost. Same thing for she. And they. If you're
So now we are going to do the
Guru Puja,
Arati
Acharya Puja.
deities, aren't we?
No, we're doing Acharya Upasana.
Maharaj.
It's the last part of the function.
Jai.
Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai. Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsav ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Bhakti Rathak Sri Rajev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Bhagavan Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Jai Saparikar Shri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Govinda Sundar Ju ki jai. Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Sri Rup Sanatan Bhattu Raghunath Sri Bhagavad Patadath Raghunath Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Sundar Radha Sundar Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadip Dham ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan ki jai. Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Soki Devi ki jai. Om Vishnupad Vishwavarenya Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Jai Sri Bhakti Vinod Maharaj ki jai. Jai Sri Paramananda Prabhu ki jai. Bhakti Lalaji Devi Jati ki jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Seva Vrinda ki jai. Sri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsav ki jai. Jisai Go Premanande.
Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki jai. And my obeisances to Maharaj and to you all. Vanshikapatrubhyascha Kripasinudevascha Adhikanam Bhavane voice right and please utilize me. Use me. If I can be useful, use me.
Hare Krishna. He just used you, Maharaj.
You did.